everybody, Zach again at newtutorial.com. Wanted to come in and do a video today. I get emails all the time, and I'm responding to another, not specific email, but just kind of general question on detaching from society. One of the things I get asked about, maybe you've seen my Leaving Babylon video, or some of the other videos where I talk about, getting out of Babylon or moving out of the city, or some of the things we've talked about in the past. And people say, well, how do you do that? What is it you're doing to actually achieve coming out? It's too hard. How do I do this? And so a lot of people, I find especially parents who are trying to figure out, okay, with kids, how do I get out of Babylon? How do I detach? And first off, understand right away, I'm not talking about enclosing yourself in a box from everything and everybody and living like a hermit apart from all of the world. That would be crazy, and I believe that would be unscriptural. We are to be a light to the world, and we should be interacting with people in order to show them the good news, the real gospel of what our Messiah did, and what we should be doing, as walking out our faith. And so a lot of people will see that, and they'll want to gravitate towards that light that you are emanating, and that's what we should be doing. However, that does not mean we continue to live in a society surrounding ourselves with things that could make us stumble, and things that could affect our children and make them stumble as they reach their adulthood, and also partaking in the idolatrous practices of the world. We should not be doing that. And so what my family decided to do is to get out of Babylon, make a lifestyle change, and that lifestyle change actually started years ago. So let me give you an example. We're going to talk about 5 things, 5 ways you can detach, 5 ways that'll help you detach. That number one thing you can do right off the bat: get rid of the TV. That was one of the first things I did, and that was even before I came to the knowledge and understanding of Torah and the commandments of our Father, and that it was still valid. It was to get rid of our TV. We got rid of our TV about 5 years ago now, and that was our first real big step in detaching from this world system that we live in. Again, not enclosing yourself in a box, but keeping things, you see the images on TV. There are horrible images on TV of nudity and murder and stealing and things like that. And a lot of times TV has you end up rooting for the bad guy or the person who has committed a sin according to our Father's word, and portrayed them as the victim. And so you find yourself at the end of the show rooting for the bad guy, the person who sinned, and acknowledging or trying to rationalize their sin, and that's not good. And so just for the sake of myself and my wife and my kids, and the images that were coming on the TV, I got rid of it. We took it out to the dumpster one day. I was living in an apartment, and we threw it away. That's number one. Number two, start cooking. Start actually cooking. We eat too much. We eat out way too much as Americans. We're constantly eating fast food, or we're going to restaurants and doing all this stuff. We have forgotten what it means to actually make our own meals. And so one of the ways you can detach is stop doing that and going out and cooking. Go to the store, buy the ingredients necessary to make your own meals. What you hopefully should be striving for is what we're doing now. We've taken that a step further. We're living in an area where I can grow my own food, and we're doing that, and raise my own food. So I know the food has very little information, or very little intrusion by things like Monsanto and all the genetic mutation and manipulation that goes on. And so we're raising our own food, and that should kind of be the goal. But you can start by just start cooking at home, going out and making a chicken dinner. Go out and buy a chicken, a frozen chicken, and prepare it. Learn how to do that. You'll stop spending less money. You'll stop relying on the system, and that's the restaurants and things like that, and all the horrible food, and you don't even know what they're putting in their food because you're not the one making it. And so while it's obviously we don't go to the store and buy a lot of our food. We're trying to do as little of that as possible. It's still better than going to a restaurant, especially a fast food restaurant, where you have no idea what they're doing in the back or where that came from. And so I would just suggest another good step. Step 2 is to start cooking. Learn how to cook your own food. We as Americans have forgotten a lot of that. In fact, I've been in people's homes where there is like no food in the refrigerator or the pantry. They don't even have a pantry, and they have a huge kitchen, but they don't have any experience cooking anything. The only thing in the refrigerator is maybe a a pizza box from last night's pizza order. I mean, that's really it. And so start cooking. Number one, get rid of the TV. Number two, start cooking. Number three, get out of debt. Get out of debt. I would seriously suggest that you get out of debt. There are a number of ways you can do that. And I get lots of people who email me and say, Zach, I've got this job. I got to keep this job because I have all these bills. I have this house I have to pay for, and I'm over my head, and I can't afford the house I'm in, or if I walk away from my house, I'm going to have terrible credit. It's going to ruin my credit. And I say, baloney. You can walk away from your house. Me and my wife walked away from our house a number of years ago. We had purchased a house. We shouldn't have. And we were up over our eyeballs in debt. And we realized we couldn't sustain this anymore, and it's not allowing us to save any money. And we realized, this is going to destroy my credit. But why do I care about the credit system anyway? Why? You're putting too much emphasis on this credit system, and what it says you should be at. Forget the credit system. You can walk away from your house. You can walk away from debt. This system allows you to file for bankruptcy. And everybody's like, bankruptcy? Oh, that's horrible. Dave Ramsey, you can't do bankruptcy. You can work out of this. There's different folks. We actually are blessed to be able to. We're still in a system right now for a limited time only that allows you to get out of the system. Use the system to get out of the system. You can do that today still. And so, what I would recommend you do to explore all your options. One of those options should be to walk away. And just stop paying. Now, certain debt, can get you in jail if you stop paying. But houses is not one of those. Consumer debt is not one of those. So look at all your options. Get out of debt as much as you possibly can. And then once you've done that, don't go back in debt. And then try to pay off the remaining debt that you have. And so that's my other thing. And save some money. But you got to get out of debt. So your biggest way to detach really would be get out of debt. And keep all options on the table: bankruptcy or walking away from a home, things like that. You can do that, and it's not that big a deal. Yeah, you're going to ruin your credit. It may be a big deal to people around you. I can't believe you did that. You've just ruined your credit. I don't care about my credit. It's a worldly system that tells me, that gives me its own set of parameters, and then tells me that they mean something. I don't think it does. Next, number 4. Get rid of your idols in your life. And this is a big thing that we went through. And I realized there were a number of things in my life that I was worshiping. I didn't even realize I was worshiping it, but I was worshiping it because I was putting it at a greater importance than other things in my life. And the easy one that I think of all the time is sports. People worship sports. And the reason I say that is because I was out with a couple of guys a number of years ago. We were out handing gospel tracts out in front of Busch Stadium, home of the world-famous St. Louis Cardinals. And some lady came up to me and says, I don't need your God. Or came up to one of the guys I was with and says, I don't need your God. My God is baseball. You see, it may not be an idol to you, but see, it's an idol to somebody else. And that stadium was her place of worship. That's where she worshiped her God. And so understand that it may not be an idol to you, but it is an idol to somebody else. And really, I see so many people who give so much importance to so many things that really aren't, worth our time and effort. Those are idols in your life, and many of those things are TVs. My first thing was get rid of your TV. I know men who just, totally rebuke. I rebuke you, when I say you should get rid of your TV. Because it's an idol to them. The mere fact that you're reacting that way is because it's an idol in your life. And let me tell you something. I get so many emails from wives, mothers of children, who email me about my TV stance and about how I would say you should get rid of the TV. And they're like, oh, if my husband could just agree. If my husband would agree to get rid of the TV, I would so get rid of it. The reason why I have so many women who email me who wish their husbands would agree to get rid of the TV is because the women, the moms, see the impact on your children that it has. They're there all day. They're with the kids. They see the kids' mind-numbed robots sitting in front of the TV. They see that, and they understand their motherly instinct is telling them that's not good. It's not good. See, my child, we don't have a TV, and so he uses his own imagination to come up with adventures and things like that he develops in his own brain, whereas a TV does that for you, and the brain does not allow a child's brain to develop. And so I get tons of emails from moms wishing that their husband would agree. I can't get rid of the TV, Zach. I got the news. I got to stay connected and up to date. Well, the news is all a sham. It doesn't matter what channel you're watching. It's all a sham anyway. It's all a big propaganda machine. So you can still get news from the internet, okay? Keep a laptop around. That's what we did, you know. But, you know, you can limit time on a laptop, okay? Or you should. And then, people are like, I can't give up my sports. There's your idol. We're on number 4, right? Get rid of your idols. That's the other thing. So right there, it tells you your TV and your sports is an idol. I can't get rid of my sports. I can't get rid of my news. I'm telling you, I get tons of emails from the moms, and the moms are saying, oh, if my husband would just agree, I would get rid of that TV so fast, because she sees the impact it has on her family and her children especially. And so, dads, that's you. Be the spiritual leader of your home. Understand that this is detrimental to you and your family. Get rid of it, and get rid of the other idols in your life. So number 4, get rid of the idols in your life. I knew a guy who wouldn't get rid of a thing of golf clubs. He's like, he'd been golfing and he loved golfing, and so he couldn't get rid of his golf clubs. It's an idol in his life. Things like that. You know, you're gonna go out and spend $70 on a round of golf, you know, on a Sunday or Saturday or whatever it is, whenever it is, and take away time from your family to go do that with a couple buddies. It's like pointless. It's pointless. It's money. I mean, when you're standing before the creator of the universe, is it really going to matter, you know, what your golf score was? But God, I had a golf score of negative 78 or whatever it is. You know, it's not going to matter. Go find some poor homeless person and buy him a pair of shoes with that $70. You know, you'll make a lot more difference in the kingdom. I bet you will. Get rid of the idols in your life. Number 5, get rid of stuff. Get rid of stuff in your life. We as Americans are loaded down with stuff, and every year, birthdays and Christmas and Easter and all these things, we get more stuff, you know. And it's like, why are we? I have people I know who have basements and houses full of stuff, and they can't move, and they say, you know, I really would like to move to the country. I would like to move, period, but I can't. I got so much stuff, and they have garage sale after garage sale after garage sale, and they can't get rid. They still can't. They still have so much stuff. Americans are loaded down with stuff, you know, and a lot of us are coming out of the whole Christmas and Easter thing, and so even birthdays. Some people are not doing that anymore, and so, you know, but they have loads of stuff, and we spent all those years celebrating Christmas, and we have all this stuff that just doesn't really matter. Me and my wife had a very strict rule when we got married, and we've stuck by that rule for the most part. Our 10 years of marriage, we're going on 10 years now. Okay, and that is this: if we haven't used it in 6 months, it goes away. Whether we give it to Goodwill or we take it to some kind of church organization or ministry, we give it away, we throw it away, whatever. But if it hasn't been used in 6 months and it's not seasonal, we get rid of it. And so how many people out there listening to the sound of my voice know their basement is just full of stuff? Their garage is you can't even park a car in your garage anymore because it's so full of stuff. Your attics are full of stuff. Your houses are full of stuff and knickknacks everywhere. And it's like we have too much stuff. You can't detach. You can't be mobile. You can't make decisions to move your family. Because I know people who want, Zach, I really like the fact that you're living in the country and you're trying to be self-sufficient. I wish I could do that. You can't do it because you got too much stuff. Get rid of your stuff. And you'll be in a position far more, allowing you to have far more access to be able to do things like that if you just get rid of your stuff. Again, you know, the American psyche is whoever has the most stuff when you die wins. What does it say? Whoever dies with the most stuff wins. That's it. Whoever dies with the most stuff wins. I'm telling you, that's a message from the enemy, and he's trying to load you down so you can't move. And let me go into something else. I get emails like this every so often too, where people will say, Zach, I just can't. I mean, I'm having a hard time. My job's giving me a hard time. I can't leave. I can't get out of Babylon because I'm so stuck, with my job, and I can't afford it right now. My job's not going. We could lose my job. I'm facing bankruptcy. And I heard another guy, a Torah teacher, mention something about he had gotten an email like that where the guy was saying, "Oh well, I really would like to leave, but I just, my business isn't doing well. And the guy mentioned, well, maybe it's the Father's way of telling you to leave. Because here's the deal: if your business was going great, if your investments were going great, if everything was going hunky dory, you might not want to leave. It'd be harder for you to leave. You'd be saying, I can't leave now. I've got my business to take care of, and I have employees to care for, and I have all these things, I have responsibilities. Well, if all that stuff's going down the toilet, maybe that's the Father's way of telling you to get ready to move. Just saying, maybe. We'll leave it at that. But anyway, 5 things you can do to detach. 5 things that will help you detach. Number 1, get rid of the TV. Number 2, start cooking. Number 3, get out of debt. Number 4, get rid of your idols. And number 5, get rid of stuff. Get rid of stuff. 5 ways that'll help you detach. I only know because that's what I did, and it helped me. And I'm pretty detached right now. I'm living in the middle of nowhere. My nearest neighbor is about a mile away, and I'm pretty excited about it. It took me a while to get here, and it was hard. The process was hard, but I'm excited, and the Father's continuing to bless me abundantly, and I can't believe sometimes the amount of blessings I get. It was hard. It was hard work, and there was a lot of pain involved. But you can do it too. But you had to take first steps, and I'm telling you, these are really some first steps you can take to detach. You'll get there. You'll get there. Be encouraged. We'll leave it at that. Go home, read your Bible. Thanks.